What's going on, people? It's Kevin Woods with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services here in Utah. I often get asked about the military, about real estate, my transition out of the military, life in Utah, and things like that. And so I decided to do a Q&A. So I've chosen 8 questions to answer, and hopefully I do a really good job of answering them for you. But yeah, so here we go. Question number 1. What inspired you to transition from the Air Force to real estate? And how has your military background influenced your approach to your current profession? So, long story short, I was active duty. My wife worked at Coldwell Banker. She was an office manager there while I was still active duty. And my current broker, who was the broker back then at that office, would always tell me that I needed to get into real estate. And so my wife, she fought me on it. She told me no, I wouldn't have any time. And being in the military, we really never know when we're going to be called away or whatever it is. So I thought that, it was a seamless transition. And so my transition sparked when I found myself working a lot of late hours, and not to discredit anything that the military did for me, but I wanted to have an opportunity to put that same work, that same time, that same effort into myself. And so when I decided to get out and pursue real estate, I wanted to take those that structure, that work ethic, that ability to see something through or find meaning into real estate with me. And so that's kind of what I take away from my transition from the military to real estate, is just being that person who, thinks about the person across from them instead of myself first, right? So it's a service first business. Despite the financial gains, it's also, for me, it's rewarding to see people achieve things that they thought about all their life. Owning a home, selling a home, buying a new home, just finding that joy in helping somebody live out their dreams is what really helps me or spark that transition from the military to real estate. Okay. Oh, okay. In addition to helping clients find their dream homes, what are some unique ways you incorporate your interests and hobbies into your work as a real estate agent? So, fun fact is, I actually took architecture back in high school, and I wanted to do architecture. I just like to design things. I wanted to design, obviously, the most unique homes and the biggest homes and things like that. And so I like to do home tours just because I get to go inside of homes and see different things. Even with our current home right now, I will give you a tour, but it's we got some stuff around. But I just see a lot of potential in things, and I like to see different architectural thoughts, or why people decided to put this here and not this here, and so I find joy in actually going out, and I enjoy walking through homes. And so some of my hobbies are, I guess, the touring homes. But no, I like photography too. Took photography in high school too. So I like to go in, I like to shoot the videos, I like to take pictures, I like to market people's property. Even if my clients aren't interested, I like to get out, and I believe that everybody can win. This is an everyone can win career path. And I wish that all real estate agents thought like that, to collaborate and help each other. But with my hobbies of architecture, photography, videography, if you see me on a camera all the time, I'm always shooting somebody's house or my own listing or things like that. And I think that is something that I incorporated in, because I truly do enjoy walking through homes, looking at landscapes, why this house was built in this particular area. Why didn't they think about the mountains there when they decided to design the house to have these big mountain views that would attract people? Or, hey, why would they close this off instead of making this an open space for entertainment or whatever it may be? Like, that excites me, and I like to go in, and hopefully we'll get to a point in this house where all those things that I've seen throughout, I can incorporate it here and make this like our dream home. If not, I'm sure my wife would probably want to move into something that is more along with their dream. All right. So question 3. As a veteran, what valuable skills or experiences from your time in the Air Force do you find most applicable to your role in real estate? Following, following instructions. Like in the military, you do nothing without your instructions, right? Those are the things that are going to save your career, maybe save some lives, to put things back into service, to CYA essentially, right? And so for me, having a career field where there's so much structure inside with different forms and things for you to make sure that you're practicing business safe, I think that is something that that's something that I find most applicable, is being able to apply the standards to my business and help me be successful, and also protect the client and the other side of the table as well. Question 4. Many veterans face challenges when transitioning to civilian life. How did your military service prepare you for the dynamic and fast-paced world of real estate? Well, prior to getting out of active duty, I decided that I needed to do something before I made the complete jump to real estate. And so I thought the closest thing to doing that was to sell cars. So I don't want to pride myself, but there aren't many part-time car salesmen there. So I actually got hired on at Tony DeVino Toyota in Riverdale, and I worked there for a few months before I transitioned out of the military. And there, I really learned how to learn what type of salesman I was. I'm not a pushy guy. I always want to put myself in the person's shoes across from me, or the person that I'm helping, because I want them to be confident in the decision that they make. At the end of the day, it's their money, it's their time, it's their savings, it's their dreams that are on the line, and I'm just there to help facilitate and protect those interests, right? And so selling cars, I realized that I'm not a pushy person. I am a very open person. I find that educating people on the process, because it's already a tough process. No one wants to be sold on anything. Typically nowadays, people know what they want, and so they just want someone who can explain the transaction, they can walk them through and make them feel at ease about the purchases or the transaction itself. And so I think that is what prepared me to get out and do real estate, is that ability to understand the type of salesman I am, or realtor I'd be. And so I try to carry that and stay true. I hate bugging people. I hate calling people up on the phone and asking. I feel like you have to build that trust. You have to build that relationship before you can go out and ask somebody to trust you with their investments or their money, right? And so that, I think, helped me the most. Number 5, beyond the business side of things, what are some of your favorite pastimes or hobbies, and how do you find balance between your personal interests and professional life? All right, so if you do know me, you know that I have a lot going on. And one of the things that I really like is my schedule. And so every day I get up, most every day, because you got to take some time off. I go to the gym. I like the repetitiveness of that. It helps me start with my day. And so I work out, I coach, I enjoy coaching, I enjoy the challenge, I enjoy, crazy to say it, the failure, but I also enjoy the lessons that we learn so that we can apply them. And when we do win, we can look back and reflect and see what we've done different. And so I think coaching is more of a, for me, it's transactional. For me, it's like seeing the joy, like going through the phases, because you can't be a good winner without learning how to lose. And so for that, I think is why I'm drawn to these types of roles, because most times, you're not going to win the first offer or the second offer, but when you finally feel like, you want to give up and that thing comes through, and it's that satisfaction at the end. Outside of that, I do have a clothing brand, Jen Days Apparel, a notary business, which is another thing that I picked up because I wanted to understand the loan process. So I do a lot of notarizing of loans, refinances, and things like that. Other hobbies, traveling. We travel all the time. 7on7 brings us a lot of opportunities to travel. And so this year so far, we've been in California, we've been in Vegas, we've been in Phoenix area. Really, we've been in Tempe. But we like to travel. I love to eat. So when we go to Vegas, I know everybody's like, man, you gamble? No, we eat. I like to eat. And so I like cooking. God, I have a lot. I just don't have enough time in a day to do it all. And so that's what I like to do outside. And then spend time with my family. You only get so much time. It seems like you have forever. I had a kid who be 15 this year, he'll be a sophomore. I got a 10-year-old who'll be 11. And when I had this conversation with somebody before, I'm like, I felt like I blinked and I missed everything from age 3 to 10. Like I was there, but it just happened so quick. And so those are my hobbies. Let's see. 6, for those who might be considering a career change, what advice would you give to fellow veterans interested in pursuing a career in real estate? Just go for it. Use what you have. Use the tools that you have. We all follow a code. We all have standards. We all have to approach the business with knowledge, with some type of game plan. And all these things are taught to you in the military. You'd never go out on a mission without knowing what you're up against. And so I think if you approach it every day like you are going to defend your country, I guess, if you're going out on a mission, then you can't fail. You act for the people around you. Your personal actions can save a life. Your personal actions here can win a deal, can help a buyer navigate through that and help them avoid getting into something that they will later regret, or a seller, same thing. So I would say pursue it, uphold the same standard, and stay true to yourself. And yeah, it'll be hard at first, but once you kind of find your rhythm and find your groove, and you're honest with the people, and you are there in fact to uphold their best interest, you guys will be just fine. 7, in your opinion, what sets your approach to real estate apart from others in the industry, and how do you incorporate your military values into client relationships? All right, so what sets me apart? I would like to say that we are all aiming for the same, which isn't true, but I think that, like I said before, I just always try to put myself in somebody's shoes. I don't want to come off as the person who knows everything, because I don't. But I will find the answer, and that's one thing that you learn in the military. You got to find the answer. Don't say that you know and you don't know, because when you're wrong, it's real bad. So I just like to say what sets me apart is the ability to empathize with people. To put myself in that shoe, because at some point in time, you are a homeowner. You are somebody looking for your home. I know how hard it is to get to a point in a position where you are able to buy a house. And I know everybody has these dreams of these magnificent homes. And sometimes you got to have baby steps, right? And so sometimes you got to navigate through it. You're not just a real estate agent. Sometimes you're a counselor. Sometimes you're just that friend who is there to listen and lend an ear, right? And give like sound advice. You don't have to give legal advice. Just give sound advice. Just understand the person that you're working with. Understand relationships. Understand personalities. Understand how to approach. And so I think that for me, I'm more empathetic with people. I want to do what's best for you. Regardless of me, whether it takes you 5, 6, 7 months or 2 or 3 days to find a house. Like, I want to be invested like you are invested, because at the end of the day, my goal is to get you to where you want to be, whether that's selling your house, buying a house, buying another house, or maybe just, at the end of the day, like, maybe it's time just to wait it out. It's not worth it right now. And so I think that that's what separates me and other real estate agents, which, like I said, I believe that we're all in the same boat, or we should be. 7, no, we're on 8. Last question. Okay, finally, can you share a memorable experience from your time in the Air Force that has significantly influenced your perspective on life and work, particularly in the realm of real estate? Man, that has significantly influenced your perspective on life and work. This one is probably not as, this I think ultimately led me to the path that I wanted to be. Okay. So I'm not going to name drop. I'm not going to talk about where I was, anything like that. I'm just going to tell you what was going on. Okay. So worked in an office. I had, multiple duties within there. And I had a couple of people who worked in there with me. And it's a series of events that led to it. And so, I remember being called into, not even an office, I was in like a back storage room, and someone told me that I hoard work. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit of a procrastinator. A lot of us are. And the last thing I want to do is be strapped down with a bunch of work, right? Especially when you have other people in the office with you. And so the people who were in my office did not uphold their end of bargain. And so a lot of that work was left on me, which I wasn't even an NCOIC at that point in time. I was the deputy, right? And so instead of making a fuss about it, I just did it because it needed to be done. Within that time, I became the expert in all of those things. And I just got to a point where I did it so much and so often that it was just second nature just to get it done. Didn't ask for help, just got it done. And I think it was when I went on vacation, they did not have the answers that they needed because they haven't been doing it. And I was just easily the scapegoat to put it down. And so at that point in time, I was kind of like, oh man, it's kind of unfortunate, that, I would get thrown under the bus like that. But at the end of the day, like, the job has to get done. The job has to get done. I'm not throwing anyone else under the bus. I'm just taking care of it. And then we're going to start new. Fast forward to right before Thanksgiving. This is 2016 now. We had just had our third child, my daughter Malia, and she was not feeding. She was not eating. And at the time I was working on, I revamped this thing called they call it DIRT school, Deployment Initial Readiness Training School. And so I did a lot of collaborating with other entities on base, EOD, SEER. I had CADM come out, security forces, and things like that. And so we tried to simulate what it would be like for a deployed location, come up to a place, set up camp, run camp, come under attack, get bombed or things like that, whatever, ins and outs, or whatever we had to do. And so my daughter was just born, and I was going on leave. She wasn't eating, so we got transferred to the University of Utah, where she had a feeding tube essentially put into her so she could eat. And so while I'm there trying to tend to my wife, watch my daughter, I still have my 2 other kids there. My phone would constantly ring asking me for, where things were. And I got to a point where when I was so upset that I was like, if people actually cared about the job, if they actually helped out, or they showed initiative, like you wouldn't have to call me because they would be able to pick up. On top of that, we had continuity books. I designed and put together things that would help them, guide them through this school while I was away. So finally I got upset. Hey, don't call me when my daughter is not doing well. Cut off my phone. I got back afterwards, ran to dirt school, working 16 hours a day, going home to, a wife who's still trying to recover, coming home to a daughter who's just getting out of the hospital. And I did that. And then I finally think, oh man, it's Christmas time. They will let me go and spend that time. I had a guy walk in, was nothing really going on. And he looked me in my face and he goes, hey man, it's nothing really going on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go home. So you should be here until about 4 o'clock, and then you can call it good. And at that moment in time, I said, you know what? I do not want to work this hard for anyone else again. I want to put that time into myself. I want to be able to be in a position where I can spend that time with my family. And so that is, at the end of the day, that is why I get up and do what I do. That is why I get up and I show houses. That's why I get up and I go film these houses, so that at the end of the day, when it's time to spend time with my family, that's what I can do. And so, long story short, I know it was a long answer, but that is what got me to this point. So, appreciate you guys tuning in. Dang, that took like 21 minutes. But this is actually fun. So, if anybody who was in that time period happens to come across and see this, I'm not name dropping. If you feel like it's about you,